Okay, good morning. This is the Thursday, December 1st, 2022 meeting of the Public Service Committee of the City of Gardner. All members are present, and we'll get started. The first item on our agenda is abatements in water sewer. We have one for 95 Crestwood Drive. Let's see if we have somebody here. I'll let you guys take the lead on this one. Good morning.
Good morning.
Have a seat.
Thank you.
What is your name?
Oh, Pierre Michel.
Pierre Michel?
Barbara Michel.
Okay. Welcome. Good morning. This is a meeting of the Public Service Committee for the City of Gardner. It has to do with a request for abatement or reduction of a water and or sewer charge for 95 Crestwood Drive. What would you like to tell us?
I mean, we received the last one and they said agent for the house to check what's going on. And they show us what's happening the bowl to the toilet, but we did fix it. I just wanna ask you if you can do something, help me out with the bill, please, because he says that's true. It is on our issues, right? Because it's in the inside of the house. But I just want to make sure if you can do something for me, please.
Sure. You're the owner of the property?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and my wife.
Okay, good enough. Gentlemen, anything you'd like to ask?
Yeah, just to double check, I noticed you have a main meter and then an irrigation meter, and everything's back to normal after fixing the toilet? Wasn't
fix it. Yeah.
Nothing outside?
No, we just fix, and then we don't hear anything anymore.
Okay.
And he showed me how to check the meter, and it's stable, and then it doesn't work until like if someone used the bathroom or shower and stuff like that. So we check it's just that it doesn't work like he used to.
It's just not the irrigation meter that had that was excessive, it was just the other one?
It was the main meter, leaky toilet, which drew
Leaky toilet.
made the bill high.
This is the most recent billing?
9/7.
Was the rebate, is that correct?
Yeah, so they get billed again in 12.
Okay. Has the bill been paid?
I can double check it.
Did you check?
Normal bill for you, sir, is just about $200 in normal quarters.
239.16.
It was the
On
last
the
one.
average, yeah. The last one was 600?
Last one was 622.
Bill is unpaid,
Okay.
which is typical.
Yeah,
because-
well, that's a recent one.
Yeah.
Sometimes if it goes a year or something like that, that's a little concerning. This is the most recent. Well, I have no other questions. What are you with?
Is there anything particular type of relief you're looking for? If we were to offer maybe a payment plan over some time to pay the bill, would that be something that would work for you?
But I mean, if that's something better, we can get, okay? It should be.
As you did say, they did run in the house, correct? Was the toilet running?
Yeah, there's two of them.
And the reason I asked about any outside usage that was irregular is because sometimes we're able to relieve the sewer part if the water didn't go through the city systems, it just discharged onto the ground. And in this case, the water went through your leaky toilet back into the
Yeah, it's
sewer.
back, yeah.
Right. It's about a $400 difference in usage this quarter, just about, so.
Sometimes if it's the city's problem, if the excessive bill had something to do with the city's equipment or the meter was malfunctioning in some way, then we can provide some relief because it was the city's responsibility for the problem. But when the excessive use or the additional use is because of a problem, the homeowner's problem, then we're limited or not restricted, but we're less inclined to do something other than to kind of give you some time to pay the bill. Because it was the city's, it was not the city's fault that the reading was so high.
I'd make a motion to give them, give the homeowners a year to pay the bill. And as long as they're keeping up, as we always do with the other bills as they come through.
Yeah, well, the motion made by Councilor Journalowitz is to give you a year, four billing periods to pay this bill, and that is as long as the subsequent bills you pay, the bills that will be coming over the next year, you pay in full in a timely manner.
Okay, so that's mean we can just add the difference on each bill coming up?
Yeah, about
The
$100
four,
or
yeah,
so.
about $100 extra for each billing period. On top of whatever you get billed. Is there a second to the motion?
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
Okay, is there any further discussion? Do you have any questions about that, about what we're proposing?
Okay, no.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Okay, so you'll be billed an additional, the 1/4 of each, over the next bill, well, the 1/4 on this,
Of the 624, we'll divide it
1/4
by.
over the next, or on each of the additional,
Yep.
the next 4 billing periods. Okay, motion passed. Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
That's all for
I
today.
appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you so much. I'm set.
Yep.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good day.
Thanks.
We don't have minutes at this time. The next item is poll petitions. We did have a petition from National Grid.
Yes.
Rob, did you have a chance to take a look at it?
I did, and I didn't have a chance to write you a memo. I will issue it for the record, but I did go out there and look at it. This comes as a result of, there's an existing pole on Parker Street, and this is what's in their petition. And there's currently a guy wire that runs over that property to a large tree on Coleman Street. That tree's coming down, it's pretty much already, it's just the trunk remaining because the guy wire's still in it.
So the guy wire is attached to the tree?
Yes, and probably has been for 50 years. It's a giant tree, needs to come down. DPW's pretty much already topped the tree, all that's remaining is the trunk and the guy wire. So we get that in touch with National Grid.
This is a public shade tree, or?
Yeah, yep. Got in touch with National Grid they've got to do something with the guy, so they're proposing this, so putting up a pole to replace the tree, essentially. So location's fine, it's basically going right next to where the tree was, so I have no issue with it. It's just
It's one of those things where if you look at the wire that's in the tree, it's probably overgrown by several inches.
Foot, yeah,
Yeah.
so that's their response to this. I have no issue with it, it's what they need to do.
Okay, any questions? Motion to recommend?
Make a motion to recommend to the full council and schedule a public hearing.
Second.
So the motion for the record is to recommend to the council approval of the petition for the pole location. Well, the pole location, the wire location, really.
It's a pole,
It's a new pole?
it's a new pole for the guy wire.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item on our agenda is department updates. Mr. Arnold, the floor is yours.
In your packet, I put in a sump pump discharge. It's just an informational letter that was sent out to the property owner. It's the dentist office on Cross Street, across from the school. There's a sump pump that they did this maybe 2 years ago as well, which they got a letter, so this would be their second notice. Obviously, the groundwater must be high, and they're discharging it over the street. If it freezes, it could cause an issue, so.
Sure.
We send them this letter, and hopefully they remedy the situation soon. So it's just you and I send it to the police department, the building department, just for FYI.
And what would be next? Just the third violation?
Well, it's actually, I don't have any enforcement.
Yeah, there's a police
I can write
department.
a meeting letter, but, yeah, it's up to the police department to, so I would, if it's, we usually give them like 10 days, and then I would contact the police department and I'd go talk to them, and hopefully that goes away. We'll probably get 10 of these a year over the course of the winter at least.
It's a little different situation, but I often wondered about the somewhat similar situation, but for a different reason, with the car wash at the end of Elm Street.
Yes, that's, as the vehicles come out, they're pulling.
They're wet.
Yeah.
They're wet, they bring it onto the street.
I don't know how I would write that letter. Yeah, that's a bad situation there too, as well.
It's especially people coming around the corner, they're from Pearson Boulevard onto Elm, that's potential.
Okay.
Have there been any issues?
I don't believe there's been an accident there because of that, but we're up there standing, we treat that more.
Sure.
Obviously, we get calls.
And speaking of sanding, is it salt you're going to be using this year again?
Yep, and we got a different contractor, which in the past we've had these guys and they're responsible, better than the one we had last year, so we're hoping a little better
Supply?
supply.
And on that topic, any further plans with the salt shed across the street?
Working on it, actually, Mary and I were just talking about that last Monday. We were just talking about it. It's not obviously gonna happen this year.
Yeah,
It's
still in the works?
Yep.
But anything else?
Just an update on paving. We're still down in Mobileye area. The roads are completely paved. The sidewalks have a base coat on them. Every sidewalk down there has a base coat. We're in the process of, I think they did part of Coleman, part of Foss sidewalks. The plant has officially closed.
I was going to say, is the plant open?
Officially closed yesterday. We can still get material from another supplier, which we talked to purchasing. We're allowed to go down to another supplier and buy it at least until the 10th of December. So provided that the winter cooperates with us, we would at least get people's driveways done. Sidewalks aren't going to get finished until the spring, but at least people's driveways can get done and walks and whatnot.
Mhm.
Meaning their walkways, not just public walkways. And then we're looming and seeding as we go along. So that's paving. Yesterday we took a trip out to Bellows Falls, Vermont. They have it's a small plant, it's an tenth of the size of ours, only 500,000 gallon plant.
Plant, what kind of plant are we talking about?
Wastewater plant.
Oh, okay.
They take their sludge and they run it through, I'm gonna call it an oven. And they basically cook the sludge and they bring it down to, was it 85% to 90% dry? It almost is like if you were to buy like homemade pasta, or it's almost that material, that type of consistency. And it can be put right in the sludge landfill. It can actually, they're actually giving it to farmers and they're eventually gonna start selling it to farmers, but they're giving it away at this point up in Vermont. Again, way smaller scale than what we have. But we're looking at it as, we gotta look at a cost benefit that if we're looking at our landfill where we can get 17 years, the way we're doing it,
Now,
if we can put something in there that we may not even have to add an amendment, sand to it, we might get 80 years out of our landfill. And maybe by then there's a different technology that comes along, but it's something we're gonna take a look at.
Mhm.
We're also working on other things as well. And that's all I get.
Okay. Rob?
Let's see, skating rink, again, I think I talked about it last time, we were planning on doing it. We're either gonna start today or tomorrow, putting it up.
Is that Jackson?
Yep, it's gonna go at Jackson, so it's right on the basketball courts. we were talking earlier about possibly if there's plans to have a nighttime event, we can maybe string up some of the LED lights we have and run them off the generator just for an evening to, make it a nice place to be. Yesterday, Councilor Dunalowitz knows this, Finance approved or voted to move to City Council funding for some cameras at the lights up here at Timpani and West Broadway, Main Street and Willow and Dyer and Timpani. This would get them off of a timed signal and onto sensors. So, if someone's sitting there waiting to take a left turn onto West Broadway from Timpani, and there's no traffic, it will sense the car, give them the arrow.
Sure.
So that's,
Don't we have that at Main Street and Chestnut?
no, I don't know if that one's on the sensor or not.
Well, it may not be if you're not aware of it. Because
That's, I don't believe it is, I believe that's on a timer too, because you sit there, if you're on,
if you're by yourself, you still sit there.
if you're on Main waiting to turn left onto Chestnut, you sit and wait through the light.
Yeah.
And that's what this system will avoid. So that's just, the building department, Daryl Sweeney had prompted this because our equipment's getting old and this will bring at least the equipment we have kind of into today's technology. And it'll make his life easier because he won't be out there servicing them. If that system goes down, they default back to the timers. So we know that because we get complaints, people sitting at the light waiting. So that's new and that's good news. One other thing, Chris Coughlin and I had sat down with the mayor and we're just at real preliminary stages looking at the possibility of bringing solar panels to some of the city facilities. We're talking to a company that had kind of just quickly looked at our properties. There's some that may be better suited to others for putting rooftop units on. The cold storage building here is a prime candidate because it's a nice big roof that faces south.
Faces south.
Yep, although we don't know structurally,
Yeah, we'll look at the structure.
we have to look at it, but, so that's something we're looking at. One of my goals someday would be to get solar down at the wastewater treatment plant because we've got a lot of space. The only problem with that is that's technically in Templeton, certainly we get Templeton Municipal Light there because of Plant Road being in Templeton. So I need to open a dialogue with Templeton Municipal Light, see if they're opposed to us, at least, thinking about it. I know there's a zoning issue in Templeton, they only allow small systems, and we'd be talking a large system. So I have to have that dialogue, but,
Is the grid able to, are we in a situation where the grid can accept additional input?
well, I think at wastewater, it's such a large use there, anything we produce there is gonna get used, I don't think we'd be.
We would be putting it back into the system?
I don't believe so, I don't think we can build a system big enough to have excess.
But I mean, for example, something like here.
Something here you might, and that's obviously a discussion with National Grid and can it be done, and, so again, we're in the very early stages, just as a
I know,
concept.
because there was a holdup in granting a lot of these systems going back under the grid because the system couldn't accept it, it couldn't handle it. I didn't know what, but that goes back a while.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the current status is.
And we may find out there might be facilities where we can't do it, because we would be, if you have a net, obviously you wanna sell it back to National Grid, and if they can't take it, then we can't do it.
Yeah.
But it's worth looking at because there's, there's potential in several of our properties, so, that's something moving forward we're gonna be working on.
Great.
That's all I have for you.
Any questions? Conservation Commission, Sophie?
Well, the only thing I have is that the Conservation Commission voted in favor for the expansion of the sludge landfill. An order of conditions has been filed, and so far there have been no appeals.
Okay. What was the vote?
All but one. in favor.
So, how many members are there now? I know there was about a flux.
6.
Well, that's troublesome, having 6 members. So that, there's been, what's the, what is it, 21 days for an appeal, or?
I believe 21 days. Is it 10?
Yeah, I think we just, if you count Thanksgiving as a non-business day, I think yesterday was the.
Was the
time.
deadline?
Yeah,
It's a very short
it is.
timeline compared to all the other deadlines.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
Okay, so it looks like we may be in the clear?
unless it's certified mail dated yesterday and it hasn't been delivered yet, possibly,
Well, we're close.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
What would the next step be?
DEP and MEPA is trying to get through the permitting with the state agencies at this point. So we're still,
Or a ways away?
we're a ways away.
And DEP is currently, I think they're actively looking at our application because they've already asked to set up a meeting to talk about a few issues moving forward. So I know they want it off their desks, so,
It's been there for a while.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, and they want to be sure that we have a place to put our sludge, that's the other thing.
Oh, that's the other part
Yeah.
that concerns them, yeah.
Yeah. So we're hoping to be ready for construction next year, that's our goal.
Yeah, good enough.
So
Anything else? Oh,
So
excuse me.
they've contacted you to set up a meeting?
DEP has, yeah.
Just over
Hydrogeology.
Anything else from the Conservation Commission?
No, that's it.
Okay, great. Well, that's encouraging news for me. Finance Committee, I don't know, Finance Committee request, I don't know if that would get on here by mistake, I think.
We have done. Not this time.
Most important words in government at this time.
Yeah. We're here to help.
Council request.
None this meeting, thank you.
I had a matter that I brought up with you over that culvert over at, on Temple Street.
Yes.
That I talked to, I took a look at, I stopped by there, it's just down the
Yeah.
street from where you are. And there's a metal, not a gate, but a
There's a grate in front of it.
grate, that's,
And then there's an old beaver deceiver that failed. That's downstream on the other side. If you're driving from Betty Spring Road heading down Temple, there's a beaver deceiver that was put in, I'm gonna say, 2002. That's on your left-hand side. That's not active. But there's a grate in front.
there's a grate on, and I guess it would be the east side,
Intake side? Upstream side?
the upstream side, yeah.
So that gets debris that's built up, and they basically build their mud out against that, so we go out there once every couple of weeks and remove it. I went by there yesterday, it was down quite a bit.
It appears that downstream from it, there appears to be some blockages. There's also some big pipes.
That's the beaver deceiver that they had put in 20 years ago, so that in theory, if you run a pipe through the culvert, you'll let them more or less think that they're building a dam, but there's a pipe that still acts through the culvert, and it
That's
failed.
the deceptive part.
Yeah, really sneaky, but if you go out into the woods on a private property, we're pretty sure that the beaver dams, there's a dam that's out there
Yeah.
downstream that's builds up and it's flooding there.
And that's private.
Correct.
So it's
we
a
couldn't-
neighbor's
we can't-
property.
Yeah, we need to get a permit, they would have to pull a permit, we could go out and do it, but they would have to pull a permit and access it.
Yeah. I think that, you're talking about the downstream area. I noticed that there's a blockage too far beyond where those beaver deceivers are.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see the water tier, there's dams going out there, again, that's private property, so it
Yeah.
can't be. Conservation would frown upon us with an excavator out there.
What property is this? I'm curious, because I kind of want to look at it.
It's a culvert, is it Bailey Brook? Wild?
No, Foster Brook.
Foster
Yeah,
Brook?
if you are on Temple Street, it's just past Nicole Terrace.
If you're going towards Saunders Street.
Yes.
It's right before where Temple gets really, really
arrow.
Or that
I
turn,
don't want
yeah.
to, yeah.
There's an old rail, well, it was, if you go past it, you come to the railroad, there's an old railroad kind of bridge type structure that's.
Yeah, yeah, right next to it.
Yeah.
The road is right next to
I'll
it.
send you a little print up, put an arrow.
That'd be great, thanks.
What's the status of breaking up beaver dams, or breaking up beavers?
Well,
Do you-
we get a permit from Board of Health and Conservation, and we're constantly doing, we'll probably do 20 to 30 a year at least. We also have somebody that traps, that, you know, during.
And that was the trapping part is what I was wondering about,
Yep.
because I know that there were some issues about not being able to do that at one time.
It's just that they've changed their, it's a cage versus carrying the leg clamps, so you just can't, you can't trap as many.
Yeah.
So it's
Different
a little more
procedure.
tedious,
Yeah.
but it's, we still actively do it.
Okay. I have nothing else. Anything else?
Nothing for me.
Questions? Okay, that's all we have.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. The meeting stands adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.